it's like you've experienced this one model of relationships, starting from your parents, maybe, people, older people when you were a child, then your own relationships that weren't just fulfilling, that was just distorted. Watch the previous part, everything that we described. And maybe now, because you're entering this change of mindset and this deeper contemplation, that it actually wasn't normal. It's not how love is supposed to look like. It's not how relationship is supposed to look like. It only created distortion and shadows within me too, right? The generational trauma was passed on. And because you're having those contemplations, I feel like you would go sometimes in your memories towards moments you spend with your feminine, that it was actually different. Moments you spend with your person, that it was actually not that way. That I actually feel different for the very first time in my life. But like I said, I'm not hearing for this collective that you would actually be thinking of returning, rekindling. It's more like you're thinking about your focus would be growth, career, improving the quality of your life, improving the quality of your life and your finances as well. Okay, I want to do a couple of shadows, just like we did yesterday, to ask what shadows will be illuminated in that eclipse season, so we really can be mindful of that. Hold on. All right, let's go. So what shadows will be illuminated? What do you need to work on and be mindful of in this upcoming intense eclipse collective? Okay. The vicious cycle. We have vicious cycle. I feel it's bigger than this card actually talks about. We have let the quest begin. Let me do two more and then we'll talk. There is no glass wall. There is no glass wall. One more. One more. You affect them too. That's on top of that, that career. Hold on, I have to put myself on Do Not Disturb. All right, so we have that vicious cycle. Remember, we were talking here about, repeating the cycle to the point of generational trauma, right? I feel you're going to enter this mindset right now that you actually can make a change. Remember, we also had that victim of fate, master of destiny. The fact that your parents didn't have a beautiful relationship, it doesn't mean that you cannot have one. The fact that you don't know anyone from your childhood or even now around you who has a beautiful relationship, it doesn't mean that you cannot have one. Because people don't understand that in order to have beautiful relationship, divine union, self-awareness, healing, deep self-reflection, shadow work is a necessity. Otherwise, it's just a relationship based on ego, where sort of a bickering and fighting over who wants what and what do I want from another person, right? In order to be an extension of another, healing must happen. Ego must be released. And I want to read through this, although again, I feel for this collective, this specific card is deeper. We have 30. I'm looking at this 30. Maybe you're about to. Maybe you are 30 or you're going to have 30th birthday soon. Action triggers reaction. It may be just detail for some of you. Action triggers reaction. When we act from place of fear, we can create self-perpetuating loops where challenging circumstances invite an outcome that only reinforces the original problem. You are being called to identify and break those cycles in your life. Improper coping mechanism can only add to the root cause of your problem. If you feel stressed, you will never remove that with engaging in low vibrational and unhealthy activities. If you feel lonely, you will never remove that with shallow relationships. Make a list of people, emotions, or situations you are not enjoying. Then ask yourself, are my lifestyle choices helping me to remove this energy? Again, I feel like this is more of a karmic loop, generational loop. So you will be coming into that mindset. I never had a super happy family. I never known anyone who had maybe parents that were, that divine, beautiful, supportive pairing towards each other. So what? It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I don't feel like you're going to enter this mindset completely. It's going to be a little bit of work, and it's going to be a little bit of, but I feel like these shadows will be sort of illuminated, so that you just took it for granted that this is how it is, this is how it looks like, but it's not true. And I'm really liking this quest, let the quest begins. That's on top of the devil. The quest, the card of the quest talks about really embarking on a journey of shadow work. I feel for this collective, it's going to be an important moment when you will start to work a little bit more consciously. Again, our masculines, you don't embark on a journey of shadow work as we do. You don't jump all in, right? And because our role in this connection is different. Our role in this world is different. Right? We heal on the level of a soul for both of us, and you clear the karma on the level of a physical world for both of us. But I feel you will start to enter really through this eclipse season. You will start to enter this mindset, you know what? I don't have to repeat the same cycle as my parents and their parents. I can break this nonsense. I can make better choices for myself. I can integrate certain shadows. I feel you're going to become aware. Maybe even that there's a reason I was mentioning that avoidance. Maybe this is the moment when you will really realize for the first time, I am avoidant. And it's never only just in relationships. Truly, if you have avoidant attachment style, is how you attach to friends, is how you attach to your work, to your goals, to yourself. Avoidance is avoidance. With that glass wall, to be honest, I feel like this collective, you're not ready to escape that mentality. The glass wall card talks about that in this connection for a very long time, the divine masculine creates a separation mentally from his feminine, thinking that I don't deserve this woman, it's never going to happen, she's out of my league, we cannot be together. Maybe there's some conditioning, maybe some societal issues, whatever that is. You make yourself believe that it doesn't exist. That it's not possible. And there's a moment on this journey when you realize that it was just a glass wall. You were looking at her and dreaming of her through a glass wall that you created out of your shadows. The glass wall doesn't exist. You're made for each other. You're one for another. But I don't think you're there yet. Whatever I'm saying now is just not going to resonate. It's not going to land with you, right? Because I feel like you're still in this mentality, I don't think it's ever going to happen. But despite the fact that you stay in the mentality of it's never going to happen, somewhere deep down there's something within you that motivates you to grow, and we're part of that motivation, just like you are that motivation for us on this journey. And with that, you affect them too. I want to read through this card. It's interesting because it landed on, remember we have Queen of Pentacles, we have Ace of Pentacles, you focusing on your financial independence, financial growth, financial progression, when it comes to career as well. Let me read through this. When we live in a house of shadows, we can sometimes become so overwhelmed with our own misery that we forget that we affect others too. People hurt you, people ignored you, and people trigger you, but chances are you have caused these emotions in others as well. It takes a victim to create a victim, and often we attach ourselves to our own story so strongly that we lose the moment of becoming the perpetrator in others people's stories. This card challenges you to focus now more on the effect you have on others in the end. Your actions are the only thing you can control, so contemplate on what emotions you create in others. Maybe you will have that reflective moment of that, I affect them too. I create certain things in people too. But what I'm hearing more is that distorted masculine for our divine masculines, right, because your dominion is the physical world, you're meant to break the matrix. You're meant to break the paradigm of how people think of abundance and of money, right? So oftentimes I find that true divine masculines or true twinny journeys, you struggle. You're hustlers. You're oftentimes immigrants. You struggle with careers. You struggle with money. You have to work a variety of jobs. You're stuck in the conditioning thinking that because I came from this country and from this family, I will never achieve certain things. And sometimes you get stuck in a loop of comparing. So you see other men that are maybe successful and they have money and travels and cars and education, and you say to yourself, okay, it's because it's that fate, right? So fate didn't help me, fate helped them. They have it, I'm never gonna have it because they were born in different families, right? And it's like and again, we all have our own journeys, right? So whatever and however they have it, they may be part of their own lesson. This is why we should never compare and solely look at our own basket. But I feel you will start to realize that you've been using these things a little bit as an excuse. Who said that I cannot achieve certain things? Who said that? It's just your mindset. I feel like there's going to be a mindset change when it comes to abundance as well, that you're going to start to really, believe in yourself. Because for a very long time, especially like in the beginning of this journey, our masculines, you're in this mindset, I'm poor, I'm never going to have anyone and anything, I'm never going to be worthy, I'm never going to achieve, and you're so special. You're divine masculines, you're special soul, you're so smart, you're so resourceful, you have the potential within you to achieve great things, but you don't believe in that. It's the self-limiting belief. I feel you're going to start, maybe you're not going to go entirely towards a place where you're going to believe oh, I can really be like a millionaire. Not that you should want to, right? But you know what I mean. And live out of my investments and assets. But I feel like certain shadows will be illuminated to you, maybe also related to that family and that childhood wounding and the repeating of that vicious cycle. Maybe even your parents, to some of you I'm hearing, would say to you, will never achieve this because we come from poor family, look at this, there's certain things that it's that glass wall. It's that glass wall, not just for your feminine, it's for the career, for the growth, for the expansion. And I feel like you're going to start realizing that no, it's not true. Again, I feel like it might not necessarily be that you're going to be there and fully believe in, your capabilities within a few months. But I think that from now, the next months, you're really going to be shown shadows and shown maybe even stories. Maybe you even meet someone that will, share their story and say, I had nothing. I came from nowhere, but I believed. And you will start to believe that it's your dedication, it's your hard work. We live in a world of very cruel, patriarchal, distorted world, but also full of opportunities. I think you're gonna beautifully, beautifully change your mindset. What kind of life do I desire? All right. Let's do, what do we want to do? I feel like maybe you need a little bit of encouragement, this collective. So let's use these. How does Source see you? Maybe there's still some things that you need to work on. Maybe there's some encouragement messages. How does Source see you? And then we're gonna do message from your guide. So just few of these. How does Source see you right now? How does Source see you? What? I want one more. I was seeing that rabbit. I was actually seeing the mouse, but they carry a bit of a similar cosmic egg at the bottom of the. You are magic. All 20s are. You are magic. You are pure magic. You just need to believe in that. All right. These were your first two. Okay, we have the eagle. This is I always associate this card with karmic fire, right? With karmic fire, I feel like you may really have not the easiest, not the easiest months ahead. There's certain things I'm hearing that were shown to you and you really saw and understood. Remember, we've talked about this, and it's like your guides want to use this momentum not to put you back in that moment of very pessimistic avoidance, not dealing with even my own thoughts, right? They want to catch that momentum. So I feel you're going to go through some sort of a karmic fire. Certain things within you, they need to burn, they need to be removed. I feel that there may be some lessons coming from above, but I'm also hearing that there's a big chance that you will actually see those lessons at this point, right? I'm not saying that you are at the point where you're going to be grateful for the lessons. I feel it's still a long way to go, but you're going to feel like, okay, it's a lesson. What do I learn from this? What do I learn from this? How do I get better? I'm not liking this starfish. I'm not seeing the nicest energy from this starfish, especially that we have the whale following the starfish. So maybe these will be your signs as well. Maybe you're going to be seeing these animals. I always say this with this beautiful deck. I love this deck. Free for free on a timer. Starfish, when it's out of balance, and I was hearing a little bit out of balance, can be a little superficial, right? And our masculines, there's a card in my deck that says you are not what you have, but oftentimes our masculines, you operate on a shallow level, right? Because of your woundings, because of your traumas from childhood that pushed you and your heart towards complete dormancy and created that armor, you operate for a very long time on a shallow level. So you judge people and yourself by what you have, by how they look. Appearances matter to you a lot, right? How people see it's not changing and transforming for you, but people need to know, right? People need to see your success. This is also why, remember what we talked about, the career, the element of the career. So I think with that whale that they really will want to teach you to go a little bit deeper, right? So not just, especially we have that cheetah underneath as well. So as you're going to be pursuing things, it's really good that you're going to maybe grab that momentum. I can do this. I can change my life. I can transform my life. I can make more money. I can, but remember to go deeper. Remember, we also have the shark. Remember to follow your truth. You cannot go towards where more money is or when it's easier. That you have to, there has to be a purpose in what you do, right? Abundance always needs to be a byproduct of what we do. You have to believe in what you do. You have to really have a mission. That's the only way to tap into the energy of abundance permanently and to stay on that highest, most abundant timeline. Otherwise, it's going to be removed. We cannot welcome shallow abundance. So it's good that you want to create. It's good that you want to, feel more comfortable. It's good that you want to become that provider. It's very important for masculine energy, but make sure that it's not superficial. And I'm also hearing when you choose people you work with. So don't look at the appearances. So when you see someone potential, someone you're going to collaborate with, don't look at the car that they have and the apartment, the money, the appearances. Talk to them. Do they speak to your soul? Do you feel like you're on the same level? Do you have the same values? It's important. Go deeper. Go deeper. But I am seeing a determination in your energy. Although we have that little rabbit. But it's okay. It's okay. Yet again, we have a lot of water energy, right? We have a lot of water energy. That's your dominant energy right now. So, but it's good because we need to really learn to be in our feelings. But rabbit is a bit of a fearful energy, bit of a scarcity, right? Bit of a they out there to get me, bit of a pessimistic, right? So make sure you work through this. make an attempt to really see things for the good sides. Then maybe something good will happen. As you pursue things, follow your truth, follow the depths of life, not just the superficiality. Is that the word? Because you're magic. You're magic. You're not here to be the follower. You're here to be the fire, to guide others. One day you will become that inspiration story for others, that you can really achieve anything. And truly, when we conquer these paths that we walk, and oftentimes when we come from nothing, it's a huge accomplishment whenever we build something beautiful for ourselves in life. Because when it's given, it's really, do you know what I mean? The right collective would know. So you have to look at this from that perspective, really positive. Okay, I want to do a couple of these. Message from your guides, guidance. Message from your guides. One more. All right. That's really nice. That's really nice. We have number 6, connection. I feel this is connection with everything, and especially that we have sexual freedom for you as well. Number 30. 30 again. Maybe 30 is important. 30th of that's the day maybe you were born as well. It's the second time I'm paying my attention to this. Connection and sexual freedom. I feel they want you to think about this. So really consider this if this reading resonated, right? First of all, connection. How we connect to people, not just in romantic connections, it really matters. Make sure it has depth, it has purpose. We discussed this, right? So you really don't have to associate yourself with someone, even if you think that this person is going to help your career and help your path. If you don't admire them for their values, for who they are on a soul level, you really don't have to associate yourself with them. I'm hearing that this collective, you maybe have tendency to keep certain people in your life because you're going to need them, because those useful connections, that networking, but it's not how it works. It's not how it works. It's really not. If you really, you're here to reach your divinity. You're here to become a divine masculine. So you cannot keep in life connections just because, it's not how a true connection. Doesn't matter even if it's a business connection, okay? But we also have this sexual freedom. So this card really talks about what it really is and how most people misunderstands that. It's not about that I can do it whenever I want with whoever I want, but it means that I respect my sacral area and I only allow this when this exists, okay, when there's true connection. And in that true connection, I release shame and guilt, and I allow myself to really receive pleasure, to really create that deep soul bond, tantric connection, right? This is what that freedom is about. And I don't feel this collective you're there yet, but there's a reason we have that card. So you're going to be thinking more, and you're already thinking more about depths of connection, about meaning of female-male connections, romantical, not just female-male, romantical connections, right? I'm hearing that you may come, either it's family conditioning or cultural. It depends, right, what culture we come from. But there are some cultures that approach this very lightly, as if it was sport, as if it was nothing, as if you can do it every weekend with a different person and it's okay because I just have my physical needs. It's not going to the bathroom. I don't even want to go there, because if you watch me, you know that me and the topic, I really go. I have so much content about this. It's one of the laws of divine law that people don't understand. This is your sacred space. This is your temple. This is where your soul lives. You cannot mix your energy with anyone. It leaves the residue in your sacral. I feel you're going to be thinking about this. Because we also have divine feminine in your energy, right? And we also have inner peace. You are enough. You are enough. Worthiness that comes from your sacral space. If it's imbalanced, you don't feel worthy of receiving anything. Love, pleasure, money, abundance, opportunities. It's the worthiness. I feel like you may be pushed to do, your guides will push you for a bit of a sacral cleanse. And it was also coming to my mind, maybe your feminine talks about this at this point. Usually, us feminines, whether it's related to our mission or not yet, we usually start having some sort of an online presence, sharing our, thoughts or transformation or beliefs. So maybe it's a detail for some of you that your feminine will start to talk about this and it will start resonating. And at the end of this journey, it's very difficult for the masculines, because most feminines, we embark on a journey of celibacy from the very beginning. Most feminines, from the moment we fuse with our masculine, something in our blueprint activates, and we understand, I don't want any other men in my life, right? Some feminines may still, it depends, it's very individual, may still, explore other connections, but true twinnies, the magical ones, the ones that are meant to come into union to change this world, my universal belief, 95% of the feminines will immediately embark on a journey of celibacy, whereas masculines, you don't, because you operate differently. We talked about this. You operate differently on the level of a body, on the level of your energy. You have different needs, you have different shadows. Your dominion is this physical world. You have to work through certain karma as well. So it's more at the end of the journey, when there's already awareness and Satori is near, as the masculines embark on the journey of celibacy. But throughout this journey, certain things are being shown to you, because we store trauma in our sacral. Whoever you exchange your sacral energy, you exchange their traumas. You take upon their traumas. You take upon their woundings, right? You create cords. I've done so much content about this. You can go to my YouTube. I think it's mostly on the spirituality and healing playlist. So I think you're going to be contemplating more on that, on true connection or freedom, love connections, feeling enough, feeling worthy to really have someone, that for that someone you will be enough, you will be more than enough. For your feminine, you're always more than enough. And that a true divine feminine doesn't do these things, right? Doesn't do these things. Many of us, to be honest, we have different paths as divine feminines, and some of us also come from very traumatic space, and we've made a lot of mistakes. But a lot of divine feminines, as you find us, we already are on some level in that mentality. We just sort of break it for you, because it's so powerful and it's so enticing, and it's so it's not something that we usually do. Most divine feminines, again, it's not a rule. Some are very, very wounded and very distorted as well in the requirement of deep healing, but because we lead the way spiritually, usually we're already in that space where we don't sleep around, because subconsciously we're ready for this journey. So subconsciously we our womb already knows, our soul already knows what's going to happen. And even if we are at some level distorted, we are protected by the divine not to do anything stupid. By the time we realize that it's either our masculine or it's no one, and it's absolutely okay. All right, my angels, I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing. There's still, for this collective, a way to go, but a beautiful way to go. You're going to start embarking on the journey of contemplation, bit of a subconscious shadow work. So continue pushing, don't give up, stay strong through this eclipse season. And yeah, I love you so incredibly much, and I will see you tomorrow.